We have some big news to go over as the ongoing protests from Celtic fans against the board continue to divide the club. Not only that, we will also go over all the latest Celtic news from the last 24 hours.
But first, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content.
Charlie Mulgrew has praised Brendan Rodgers after Celtic's emphatic 4-0 win over Partick Thistle at Firhill, revealing what struck him most in their post-match conversation. The former Celtic defender was left impressed by the manager's mindset and approach, highlighting why Rodgers commands such respect from players. The result against Thistle came amid ongoing protests from sections of the Celtic support, but on the pitch Rodgers' side looked composed and ruthless. Mulgrew believes that attitude comes directly from the manager's insistence on avoiding complacency, no matter the opponent or occasion. Rodgers' record in domestic cup competitions has also caught Mulgrew's eye. Losing only twice across multiple campaigns, the Celtic boss has built a reputation for keeping his players sharp and ensuring standards remain high. He said, "We spoke to him. I'm just really impressed with him. I told him yesterday that I'd spoken to players who had worked under him, like Scott Brown and Mikael Lustig, and I asked what makes the difference, why he's the best manager they've worked under. And it's basically how he guards against complacency. I'm always impressed with his cup record. He's only ever lost 2 games in the cup. And every single game, he's like, it doesn't matter what the result is. It's about moving on to the next one and not letting anything get carried away. It doesn't matter how big the game is or how good the result is. Like yesterday, it's straight on to the next game and being in the moment. That's impressive. You'll be delighted to see the window shut, keeping some players like Maida and adding Tunekti. And yeah, this is the start of a big few months coming up." Mulgrew's comments show why Rodgers remains such a respected figure in Scottish football. His ability to refocus players and maintain high standards has been a hallmark of his management. The timing of Celtic's strong performance also gives Rodgers momentum as the team prepares for upcoming European fixtures. With new additions like Sebastian Tunekti beginning to make an impact, expectations around the squad are growing. Mulgrew stressed that Rodgers' strength lies in balancing short-term results with long-term consistency. By guarding against complacency, he ensures the team continues to progress regardless of external noise. As Celtic prepare for a crucial run of games, Mulgrew's words reflect the confidence Rodgers inspires. For him, the club is entering a decisive period where the manager's leadership will be more vital than ever. Now for the main story, as Celtic fan protests have sparked fresh debate across Scottish football, with many questioning the trust between the supporters and the board. Banners, chants and organised action have become common at recent games aimed at Peter Lawwell and the club's leadership. Some see these protests as vital to push for change, while others argue they are misplaced given Celtic's recent domestic success. For Andy Halliday, the picture is more mixed. The club may be secure financially, but fans are right to point out the lack of progress in Europe linked to transfer decisions. Halliday agrees that anger remains high, even after Brendan Rodgers' side impressed with a big win at the weekend. He admitted he was shocked by how strong the latest protests were, especially when set against Celtic's dominance in Scotland. Still, Halliday accepted the concerns cannot be ignored. For him, the protests reflect a wider demand for ambition, with supporters frustrated that stability off the pitch has not yet led to progress in Europe. He said, the Celtic one's a funny scenario because I think there's been disdain towards the Celtic board for a number of years, regardless of on-field success or domestic honours. It's obviously been intensified and ramped up since what was deemed a really poor transfer window, but I even felt the narrative towards that would change slightly given Rodgers' man of the weekend, Tunekti. Since he and Iheanacho came in, he looks like he's going to make a difference to the team as well. So I thought maybe that alone would ease things down. That's why I was really surprised to see Celtic go so strongly again at the weekend, especially when you're looking at it through the eyes of a Rangers fan, where the club's won 1 league title in 15 years, And considering how successful Celtic have been, from the outside looking in, I can only be honest. I think Celtic are run as a club extremely well. I can completely understand the frustrations with this summer's transfer window, and arguably even the summer before that, but I was surprised to see such a strong protest show again at the weekend. Halliday's view ties into the bigger debate about where Celtic are heading. The accounts show a club in very strong shape, but doubts remain about whether the money is being used well enough to lift standards in Europe. Fans have made it clear that winning at home is no longer enough. With Rangers facing their own pressure from supporters, the gap between success in Scotland and struggles in Europe is still a sore point for both clubs. For Brendan Rodgers, the task is mixing short-term results with the bigger goals of the club. Tonekti's bright start has given hope, but many fans believe players of his quality should have been signed weeks earlier. With European games coming, the protest will keep testing the bond between the board and the supporters. Halliday might praise the club's business model, but for most fans, progress will only be judged by results on the European stage. In other news, Charlie Mulgrew has given his view on Brendan Rodgers' future at Celtic after speaking to the manager following Sunday's win at Firhill. The former Celtic defender believes Rodgers is fully focused on the job at hand, despite continued questions about his contract situation. Rodgers has faced scrutiny in recent weeks amid fan protests and speculation over his long-term commitment. But Mulgrew insists the Celtic boss is putting all his energy into the team and is determined to keep performances on the right track. The ex-Scotland international pointed to the display against Partick Thistle as proof that Rodgers' work on the training ground is paying off, with a sharper, more purposeful approach in possession evident throughout the 4-0 victory. For Mulgrew, the key now is not whether Rodgers has doubts about staying, but whether the Celtic board and hierarchy can work together with him to provide clarity and backing. He said, "I got the impression yesterday he was now just thinking, let's get on with it. I'm concentrating on the football department. I'm giving it my all. I think you could see that with the team yesterday. They were well drilled in what they were doing, and they'd worked on forward passing. He's all in for the team, trying to get the best. Whatever happens with his contract situation, the board will organically sort itself out. It can be sorted. Everything can be sorted. It's just about swallowing egos and having the conversation between a few members and discussing what the script is with Brendan Rodgers going forward. And I'm sure that in the meantime, while that's happening, he'll be trying to win games for Celtic." Mulgrew's comments highlight the belief inside the Celtic camp that Rodgers remains committed despite outside noise. The Irishman has repeatedly dismissed talk of walking away before his contract expires. Instead, the focus is on building momentum on the pitch, with Rodgers eager to prove that recent transfer frustrations will not derail the season. For the players, his approach has been clear: ignore the background noise and deliver results. The question of a long-term deal will linger until the board takes steps to resolve it, but Mulgrew believes that can be managed in due course. What matters most now is that Rodgers has the team moving in the right direction. With European competition on the horizon, Celtic fans will take encouragement from signs that the manager is fully locked in. The uncertainty may continue off the pitch, but Rodgers' determination to drive standards on it is not in doubt.
What do you think of what we discussed in today's video? Let us know down in the comment section below. Make sure you've liked this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Thank you, take care, goodbye.